Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our new edition of the Hindu Mediji. In today's edition, what we find that in the headlines, Manipur is still dominating the headlines. Opposition MPs under the banner of Indian National Developmental Inclusive Alliance, they visited Manipur, stripe-torn areas and rehabilitation camps, and what they found was very much. They conveyed to the governor the condition prevalent and appealed to the Prime Minister for his intervention and giving the healing touch. And another issue that they deal is 10,000 children in relief camps in Manipur. That is again that children who are being due to violence and a strife that has gone for around 3 months, they have been now in the camps established by the government, army, Assam Rifles and others, and now their future is in very much perilous condition, and measures taken for them. Another headline in the front page news is in Pakistan, in the northwest frontier province of Pakistan, Balochistan region, basically Fazlur Rahman, Jamaat-e-Ulama Islami parties, who was known as Diesel Rahman also. His party's rally was there. He was not present in the rally, but his local chief was there, and a human bomb exploded and killed 40 killed and hundreds of injured. Prime Minister Pakistan has condemned the heinous crime. Now, in our spotlight section today we have, the title is, you can say, the grey in the colorful plumage. The grey in the colorful plumage. Basically, this article deals with trade in exotic wildlife fauna. That is, you know that exotic and endemic. Endemic, that's a local, which are of Indian origin. The Wildlife Protection Act 1972 is there for the endemic local flora and fauna protection, whereas exotic birds or animals that are brought from foreign countries are not coming under the purview of Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Recently, there has been an amendment made into that those who are having exotic birds or any other fauna, they need to inform the authorities. They have to mention it, and it has to be regularized and checked. There is a big issue regarding that one. With the rising affluence in the society, people have started their own aviaries. Aviaries, you could say that they have foreign birds in there and they charge tickets. People do visit them. So it's a case of Tamil Nadu. They have mentioned that they have taken the case study of Tamil Nadu, but it's basically an issue that we need to go for, because the sites and IUCN, red list, IUCN. Okay, IUCN means International Union for Conservation of Nature. They have red list under which endangered, near threatened, vulnerable, these categories of, they have classified all the wildlife fauna. Likewise, we have sites, Convention on International Trade in endangered species of wild fauna and flora. It's a multilateral treaty to protect endangered plants and animals from the threat of international trade. India is also a signatory to it, and it has many appendices under which they are names of the birds, animals are being mentioned and how it should be handled. But in India, its implementation of site is very limited due to manpower shortage, less number of centers and other things like that. So this basically, there is no, it says that there is no a specific legislation to back up sites implementation except the Custom Act 1962 and exim policy, export import policy. What happens that once it comes inside, once it comes within countries through customs or illegal means, it becomes very difficult to have oversight for the those endangered species, especially exotic birds and some animals also. It creates a problem for the host country that due to rise in demands, more smuggling may occur, and other issues are like that they develop resistance and parasitic tendencies, and some ecological devastation could also occur due to bringing in foreign exotic birds and all. So this is the basically you should read it. This is grey in the colorful plumage. Now we come to editorial section. In editorial section, two editorials that Hindu has today is one deals with the bail that was given to the bail that was given in Bhima Koregaon case to Vernon Gonsalves and Arun Ferreira. To Vernon Gonsalves and Vernon Gonsalves and Arun Ferreira. Both were booked under UAP, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, in 2018 when the case was filed by the Pune police. Number of activists and writers who advocates were booked under that one. Sudha Bhardwaj was also there. She got bail because charge sheet could not be filed. Then Stan Swami died in custody in prison itself. He could not get bail. Anand Teltunmade, who is a Dalit scholar, he got bail by Bombay High Court recently. So the granting of bail to Ferreira and Gonsalves is something that gives a broader picture under which the state of prosecution takes into cognizance of that. The thing is that Unlawful Prevention Activities Act is so, UAPA is so powerful act that no court can give bail. But this article says that giving after 5 years, denial of bail should not be a norm. Okay, bail should be given in the condition, and here what has been found that the both of them were having no direct bearing to the incident. They were third party mentions, and court found very weak. Virtually, when judicial glance went to the charge sheet and other case studies, found that it's a very weak case, and the government should compensate the trial and finish the things like that. So it finally it concludes by saying that the time has come for a comprehensive evaluation of merits of the whole case. Next one article editorial is on the rap on the knuckles. It says about the Supreme Court has tried to hold states and center to account on mob violence. We have two articles on this page, mob lynching. One here is the editorial, another one in the text and context also. There is an article on the Supreme Court's recent intervention in cases of mob lynching. Tehseen Poonawalla versus Union of India was the verdict in 2019, led by then Deepak Misra judge, Supreme Court Judge Deepak Misra. Tehseen Poonawalla versus Union of India, wherein the Supreme Court had mandated, given guidelines to avoid the mob vigilantism, means mobs taking law into their own hands, and especially people from minority communities getting lynched for crimes that they think that of certain natures. So in the recent case, what happened in national NI, one moment. National Federation of Indian Women. National Federation of Indian Women has filed a again case in Supreme Court wherein the Supreme Court has sent contempt notice to separately to Union Home Ministry as well as states. Some states like 6 states, basically Maharashtra, Bihar, Haryana, Rajasthan. So because the guideline that was given under the Tehseen Poonawalla case in 2018 has not been followed by the states either or the central government. Appearing for the central government, Attorney General said that government is initiating a process wherein by which will take the feedback and all. The Supreme Court had mandated to appoint a nodal officer not less than rank of Superintendent of Police to stop this menace of vigilantism, cow vigilantism in the name of especially minority people getting lynched by the mob. So SHO of that particular area has to file an FIR and he has to inform the nodal officer, and accordingly in a time bound manner FIR has to be investigated, charge sheet has to be filed, and the perpetrators should be convicted. So basically this editorial is rap on the knuckles, means that the judgment that was there in 2018, that is Tehseen Poonawalla versus Union of India, the judgment of the Supreme Court is not being, you could say that neither state nor central government has fully implemented it. And so the Attorney General has asked for a time, and so the next hearing will be in October, wherein it will take into measures year-wise. They have asked, Supreme Court has asked year-wise. From 2018 onwards, it has asked for year-wise data of the cases that were reported, FIRs lodged, charge sheet filed, conviction happened or not, and what are the lacunae and things like that. So we will watch this space, what happens, what is the state and central governments. It's basically, you could say, contempt notice has been separately served to state government as well as Home Ministry for implementation of or non-implementation of Tehseen guidelines of Tehseen Poonawalla versus Union of India Supreme Court judgment of 2018. And one article we have in editorial by Saili Walia. He is the professor of English literature in Punjab University, Chandigarh. He was, and he regularly writes for Hindu, and actually he writes on the cultural studies aspects of the literature. And here in this article, what we find that in this article, the relevance of humanities as resistance. So he goes into the history of taking into Prague Revolution of 1968, quoting Václav Havel from Czechoslovakia as a playwright. He became president also. As a playwright, Václav Havel's words, and then it goes on quoting could say that the things Second World War period, Germany's resistance, how Germany avoided humanities, and all the resources were put into economic and military affairs, and what that led to. So this case is he presents a powerful case that in this neoliberal economic situation, what happens that humanities is being ignored. Humanities as a subject, humanities as a genre, humanities as a university paper and research things has been ignored consistently by the government, and more emphasis is given on science and technology and other aspects. But it says that humanity should not be ignored, and more focus should be given, because historically it is more relevant, and for humanity and for democracy to survive, we need a form of resistance in different aspects: art, culture, literature, poetry. And so if we ignore, if we bypass the humanities section, then it is very much you could say fatal for democracy. I will quote some basic concluding aspects of this article that say the foremost critical question before us is to see how and if academic scholarship can challenge the corporate media and the state, evolving a new lexicon you understand, dictionary, that can confront assumed assumption of knowledge, that can confront assumed assumption of knowledge. So it's a very much then we move to our popular section, that is text and context. Text and context, we have one article on the same thing that we just discussed in editorial. States lacks a response to lynching. This is the same Tehseen Poonawala judgment of the Supreme Court, how it has been not implemented yet by the states or the Union Home Ministry, and so Supreme Court has sent a contempt notice separately to both, and they have in October there will be hearing wherein the Supreme Court has asked data from the state for year wise 2018 onwards, 5 years data, that what measures were taken in the known cases of lynching and what are the major preventive measures, establishment of nodal officers and prone areas, specific zones where this incident have happened, what are the measures were taken to stop it. So this is the one. Another article is in this text and context is what is Sam Altman. Sam Altman is the founder of OpenAI. OpenAI, you know, that famous for ChatGPT, large language model bot, AI bot, large language model AI bot ChatGPT. He is the founder of this one, OpenAI. He has now come with the world coin as cryptocurrency sort of form. Okay, and that will uniqueness of this cryptocurrency is that it will scan iris scan of individuals, and it has cited data of a success of Aadhaar in India, that how Aadhaar biometric based identification, that is Aadhaar, has led to stopping of duplication in payments and other corruption charges. So it's a uniqueness of Aadhaar ID of using biometrics has been applied in this cryptocurrency, which is being launched by Sam Altman, who is the founder of OpenAI. So it's a uniqueness, and they are volunteers coming up, and it's a voluntary. You can give your consent for scanning of your iris, and they will create a world ID, and they will give you some cryptocurrency also in lieu of that. You can keep it in hope of getting it more and more costlier at later days. So can imagine. And otherwise, even if you are not willing to scan your iris, then also you can invest in this one. So it's a one form of cryptocurrency, rise of cryptocurrency with something that individual unique identity through biometrics. Then one article we have in the text and context is the quantum theory, that post-quantum cryptography, securing data in the age of quantum computers. It's written by Ashoka University, you know, one of the elite avant-garde university in our NCR region, Delhi, and where his professor has written this article that evolving changes that are occurring in our quantum computing, quantum mechanics led to quantum computing, and what are the challenges, and because data is a new oil, and if you don't if you don't preserve it, if you don't manipulate it, if you are unable to take care of your data, then somebody else will use it. So this is the bit lengthy in the sense that scientific terms have been used, but one should read it for that sake, that it's a new challenging frontier of science where we have Newtonian physics replaced by Einstein's physics, and now Einsteinian theory is being replaced by quantum mechanics, and that's then we have quantum computing. So India has also joined a sort of agreement with US, and we have a quantum mission launched by Government of India and IIT, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. They are doing a path-breaking research in quantum computing. That will be the future of computing. Then we can go for major news is PSLV puts 7 PSLV Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle puts 7 satellites in orbit, 4 more missions this year. We know that it's a backbone of ISRO, and they are being, another one is that External Affairs Minister has said that India's semiconductor mission not limited to domestic demand. We will be developing alternative to China, wherein we can be a source for semiconductors that is very much necessary for all over the world. Then within the world news section we have African leaders leave Russia summit without grain deal. You know that Black Sea, Ukraine's export to Africa, the grain through Black Sea was being withheld by Russia after attack on its Kerch Bridge that connects Crimea to mainland China, and this had led to some, because that was UN mandated agreement to allow for Russia to allow grain export to Africa. Now African countries have come to Russia, and here it says that African leaders leave Russia summit without grain deal. And another news is that decoupling from China is merely an illusion, says French finance ministers. Another news, and so we can say that. Let us conclude by today's newspaper. We'll go for more detail. Main thing is that it should be regular. Thank you very much.